Honestly, by now you know the drill. By the end of this month, my discount for 15% off on my merch store will be gone. So limited time until the end of this month, literally the last day of this month, you can get 15% off on merch like this one. After that, you'll have to sign up for my newsletter down below to get 20% off my merch for the entire year. So check it out. Anyway, I told myself that I was not going to do anything today. It's snowing outside and I recently had to go to my grandma's funeral, so I'm not fully in the right state of mind, but hey, that's a great time to vent about a movie you just saw that kind of has to do with Black History Month. So here we go. Being that it's Black History Month, I figured I'd take advantage of all the clout going around right now, especially since YouTube now has this whopping big BHM design with their logo, at least on the phone. I'm not sure if it's on the desktop, and I figured I'd take advantage of it, although taking advantage of it actually might be a waste of time since I'm still here not necessarily thriving on YouTube, and I'm a Black content creator, so obviously the systematic racism is real. Anyway, I feel that Black History Month, actually, you know what? The best way to sum up how I feel is this clip from Morgan Freeman.
Black History Month you find
ridiculous.
Why?
You're gonna relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? Well, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
Yeah, so anyway, being that,
like I said before, I can't avoid this because, you know, gotta get that clout, gotta get that cheddar, gotta get that dough.
Not gonna happen. No, not gonna happen.
I figure I'd take advantage of it. So yesterday, literally yesterday, from when I'm filming this video, I watched this movie called The High Note, which stars Tracee Ellis Ross and Dakota Johnson. Surprisingly, this is one of Dakota Johnson's better performances after 50 Shades of Grey and that stuff, but that just proves that you can't judge an actor based on 1 or 2 or 3 crappy movies.
anyway,
I had a lot of issues with this movie. It's basically a Black Devil Wears Prada, except 1,000 times worse. I mean, it's not that bad, but it was bad for me, and I don't want to talk about this any more than I need to, so I'm gonna try to do a Jeremy Johns type review and get to the point very quickly.
The futurist, gentlemen. The futurist is here.
so
This movie basically deals with Dakota Johnson's character. Her name is Maggie, and she's a personal assistant for Tracee Ellis Ross's character Grace, who is like this famous Black retro singer. And when I mean retro, I just mean like retro to my generation. Basically, she's kind of like if either Aretha Franklin were still alive, or even someone like, I can't remember her name, I'm gonna put it right here. Basically the person who sang the Midnight Train to Georgia. Like people like that, like older generation singers, you know, Grace is a part of that age group, sort of. And it's basically about Maggie trying to become a producer while also being a personal assistant to Grace. Now, I have a lot of issues with this movie because the marketing really confused the heck out of me. The marketing makes you think from the trailer and the posters and everything that Grace is the main character.
I know everyone is happy with me doing the same show every night. What if there's something more?
but she's not.
She's actually barely in this movie, and it's partially a good thing, but I will get to that in a second. Maggie is actually the main character, and we mostly follow her story as well as a romance that she ends up creating with this guy, I can't remember his name, who actually also, spoilers, like you should care, who is actually Grace's son.
Sorry, did you just call her mom?
Mother? Mary. A talking horse.
Even though supposedly she never had children or was married, blah, 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 whatever. It's supposed to be like this shocker that they literally reveal at like a quarter, if not a fifth, if not an eighth of the end of the movie. I'm not joking.
Anyway,
The marketing really set up this movie wrong and therefore confused me. And even when the movie is playing, like the writer still didn't know who the main character is sometimes, even though it's obviously Maggie. So that was annoying. Second issue I have, Grace. She's supposed to be kind of, I guess, a black Miranda from Devil Wears Prada, except not at all compelling, interesting, funny, intimidating, or anything of that sort.
Stop. I'm not gonna tell you guys you're great if you're not great. Let's do it again.
You don't read Runway.
No.
And before today, you had never heard of me.
No.
And you have no style or sense of fashion.
Well, I think that depends on what you're...
No. That wasn't a question.
She's basically a diva, but more annoying in the sense.
Are you sure all of this is still okay with you? Because after that little show at the recording studio, I'm not sure. Because if there is something else you want to be doing, I don't want you to be here if you don't want to be here.
I don't care about my haters, and if you want to fight me, then fight me. And
My biggest issue with her character really is just the fact that she's basically berates Maggie throughout the whole movie.
You are here for me. I am not your stepping stone. You're not a producer, Margaret. I didn't ask you to produce my song, and I'm not gonna say thank you either.
Couldn't handle it. You want to be a producer?
You're an encyclopedia. You memorize trivia. You handle my itinerary. You pick peanuts at a Kung Pao chicken.
Producing is about trust and commitment. You couldn't even do that as an assistant.
Why would I want to work with you? Why would anyone want to work with you? And you know what, those guys in there, they're way better than you because they were setting me up for an easy win. And you, little lady, are setting me up for a fail. Thank you.
Which makes no sense to me because according to her, which I'll get to in a second, there's a lot of struggles that she went through because of her gender, her race, whatever. But it's like, here you have a female assistant who is a big fan of yours and also striving to try to be a producer or whatever. And all you do is demean her. Like,
may not have said some things that could have hurt someone's feelings. And for that, I forgive myself. Yeah.
And I know Miranda doesn't apologize either, but Miranda wasn't set up for redemption like Grace was, which is why it infuriates me.
this is why the whole feminist thing is such a joke to me, because honestly, this is probably the reality of a lot of situations. You don't have women empowering women, but I'll talk about feminists and stuff in another video, hopefully this month.
anyway,
My big issue is the remark that she makes.
History of music, only 5 women over 40 have ever had a #1 hit, and only one of them was black. One. Do you understand that?
And it's like,
This is my issue I always have when people bring up statistics about black people, about police brutality, things like that, is that you look at the statistics, but you don't look at the context. Now, obviously certain statistics don't really need as much context as others, but in this case scenario, this needs context, because whether it's true or not, which I didn't look into yet, but it probably is true, or maybe it's not, who knows. Let's say it is true, devil's advocate here, you're still not taking in a lot of context. A lot of music, which it sounds like she makes like disco/pop music, a lot of that music only does well when you're young. A lot of artists nowadays that are at the top of their game are in their early 20s or early 30s. After that, you're not as successful because you're not as young, you're not as in tune with the audience, which is usually young people, and you're not as attractive, and a lot of other reasons. It doesn't have to do with the fact that you're old necessarily, as much as just the fact that that's not what's in the market anymore. Music is all about the youth most of the time. It's not about old people. Now, that's not to say that if you're old, you can't connect with the youth, which is another problem I have with her saying what she said. Because my generation specifically, where everyone wants to be a hipster nowadays, everyone loves to listen to old music. Personally, one of my favorite bands is Fleetwood Mac, but I also love Joan Jett, Janis Joplin, the Rolling Stones, Dakota, Tears for Fears, and a lot of other older generation music. Also, my parents grew up in the 80s, so they basically influenced my music taste. The point is that that's not necessarily true. If she's not making music that necessarily connects with the main audience of music, which is the youth, then yeah, you're not gonna do as well. But again, this isn't some form of like oppression or something. It's just you not understanding how the music industry works altogether. Also, you have a lot of indie artists who are doing better than people in the industry. So maybe you're with the wrong label company. Maybe you need to make your own, which is another thing. Throughout most of the movie, she's listening to her stupid agent slash old time friend telling her to do all these things. That means that she loses less of her freedom to make new music and just regurgitating the music she made from the past.
I've already done a greatest hits album and a live album, and now a greatest hits live album.
When I agreed to come back, what did you promise me? Huh? You said you was gonna listen to me this time.
Actually called cross synthesis, which I invented, which takes one synth and cancels the other out when they play at the same time. Sounds dope.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
You've heard of cross synthesis, right?
No, but it don't matter. You the producer.
Hey, bro, watch your jet. Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet.
Not everybody wants to hear that. Some people want to hear something fresh. So if anything, she should have took a risk. Of course, because they slightly mention in a quick dialogue that her doing that before didn't work in her favor, doesn't mean that you shouldn't try it again. But I digress. The main issue I have with this entire movie and why I made this video in the first place is the second part of her statistics, which is the fact that because she's black and older, but also just because she's black, there's a reason why she's not in the billboards. If that is not the biggest bullshit I have ever heard in a movie about music of all things, I don't know what is. For crying out loud, you have so many black artists nowadays that everyone loves, including white people, that you cannot even try to joke about the fact that being black somehow is the reason why you're not on the billboards. I mean, there's this quote from an interview from Lil Wayne that I'm gonna put right here, and it just basically sums up how I feel about this.
A lot of white kids love rap.
Yes.
Explain that. What does that say to you? What's the message of it? What's the bigger picture of it?
I don't want to be bashed because I don't want to sound like I'm on the wrong if there is a side, but I thought that was clearly a message that there was no such thing as racism. That's what I thought.
People nowadays of all races will listen to any artist that they find interesting, including especially black people. And during this month of Black History Month, and with everything like BLM being plastered over the NBA and plastered on Xbox games and in the Miles Morales game and
type of whack ass shit. Look at this whack ass shit. Like they fucking, like that was their excuse to try to throw that in there, right? Fucking dog shit ass. So I had to get the ANCAP suit. I had to fucking go through. I mean, I should web this stupid shit up, blow it up.
Everywhere else you can go. You cannot tell me that oppression and suppression has anything to do with you not being a successful singer and happening to always also be this is pissing me off, also being black. It has nothing to do with that. If anything, there is no better opportunity than now to be a black artist and striving in the music industry, whether that's indie or Hollywood. You can't fool me on that one. I'm sorry, I don't believe you. And we see that with her son, who works with Maggie, that obviously people enjoy his music, and he's black. He happens to be young, which probably helps, but he is black. And not only that, but he ends up striving very quickly with the help of Maggie, knowing her connections within the music industry, which is also part of context. If you don't have connections, and you may not necessarily grow, it's not necessarily systematic racism as much as you don't know the right people to connect with to get you into the places you need to be. Just a thought. But anyway, at the end, basically Grace and her son sing together, and it helps Grace to have the courage to start doing new music. People basically love her and her son. If anything, although it sounds callous, she should have used her son as an up-and-coming artist and also as a way to transition herself into new music that people would enjoy for this generation. But that's just my opinion. What do I know? Systematic racism is just stopping us all black people from succeeding. And honestly, sometimes it can be tempting to use that excuse for why I'm not successful on YouTube, but then I remember people like me and other black people who are actually willing to be more rational and give you facts and not necessarily tell you that it's just all the white man's fault. We don't do as well, because that's not what Big Brother wants you to hear. So anyway, I did not like this movie. The Devil Wears Prada is way better when it comes to showing the industry of something, and also how some people basically sell their souls and their humanity in order to succeed, and whether you're willing to do that. And also, it's a funny movie.
You're also blithely unaware of the fact that in 2002, Oscar de la Renta did a collection of cerulean gowns, and then I think it was Yves Saint Laurent, wasn't it, who showed cerulean military jackets. I think we need a jacket here. And then cerulean quickly showed up in the collections of 8 different designers. And then it filtered down through the department stores, and then trickled on down into some tragic casual corner where you no doubt fished it out of some clearance bin. However, that blue represents millions.
The high note is not funny. I chuckled maybe 4 times throughout the whole movie, and it's labeled a drama comedy, and it's not funny at all. And the only reason why I chuckled a few times was because of Maggie's roommate. That was it. It was not funny. Ice-T's character was an asshole.
You're not a producer. You're not an artist. You're not a manager. If you want to be a producer, you find your own goddamn clients and stay the hell out of mine. Do my job and you do yours, which is get her coffee, Kleenex, Kotex, and whatever else the hell we've been paying you to do for the last 6 months.
I've been here for 3 years.
She's been waiting to do this for a long time.
Also, Maggie made this possible, not you. Why are you still here?
Grace was an asshole. The son at one point was an asshole.
You don't know shit. You don't know anything. You just walk around pretending and shit.
I'm sorry
like,
that I lied to you. It was wrong. But we made something really good, and it deserves a shot. I think you deserve a shot. And do you know what's in there? That could change your whole life. It could change both of our lives.
I'm not your escape plan, Maggie.
That's...
The only person I felt bad for and I rooted for was Maggie. That was it. Everybody else sucked. And being black or feeling oppressed is not an excuse to be an asshole. And I don't know why I have to say that out loud for people to understand this, but I'm gonna say it now. Just because you black and just because you struggling and whatever you're doing does not give you a right to mistreat anybody, especially white people, just because of the color of their skin. That's racist. But I've already talked about that in another video. I'm tired. I've been talking for 15 minutes. I said I would talk for 10. I'm done. Don't watch this movie. I did. I regret it. That's all I gotta say. Have a great Black History Month, but not really, because it should be all the time we celebrate any culture, including the black culture, whatever that is anyway. Yeah, I got a treat for you guys this month, so for anybody that's still watching, you got a heads up on that. And does it maybe have to do with Twilight? Bye!
Born in Memphis, Tennessee. I had a long haul from where I came from to here, but here we are.
Right.
So proof of the pudding is in the eating, and here we sit at the dining table.
But it's hard to, when you say that to some people, because they say, oh, there you go with a pull yourself up by the bootstraps thing, and you know, you're just being respectable. Not everybody can do that.
Everybody can.